Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today this video is super exciting because this is a journey I have been through. And this is about how you can trick your brain to success. Have you ever wondered and said like, I'm too far from where I want to be. I'm not there yet. What have I been doing? And I think this is especially important because I feel like the whole year of COVID, whether you lost a job, whether you feel like you wanted to change your career, there has been a lot of stalling that's happened in that year that I feel like kind of resembles what we're going through now in a sense, but at least now we have the opportunity to seek it. But today this video is all about how you can trick your brain to get to that point because I feel like a lot of us have these negative thoughts, but I want to tell you something today. Negative thoughts are not bad. It just depends on how you choose to take that momentum. It either works for you or against you, but it's all about how you drive that energy. So I feel like for me, I had those negative thoughts. I wouldn't say I didn't have them, but I used them to fuel me towards success. And this is exactly what this video is all about. It's about how to trick your brain towards success. And I think one of the reasons, before we jump right into the points, I think one of the reasons why we have these thoughts is because we probably have had growing up as a child, we've had parents always trying to push us more, even if you get like one of the highest grades you've ever gotten, and they're like, oh yeah, I really like it, but you can do better. And then we're like, no, they know your potential, they know you can do more. And I think that kind of sticks with us in our adult years and as we grow, and it becomes kind of this subconscious telling us like, we're not there yet, there's so much more we can do, and this is normal. I feel like if you don't have these thoughts, you're probably just lazy and chilling. But if you have these thoughts, then you're in the right place at the right time, because I'm here to help you today, because I think throughout my years, these thoughts are exactly what got me to where I am. And I feel like in the span of 5 years, I moved to a new country and I used those negative thoughts to fuel me to success, because I was like, there's no way for you to quit right now. You made this decision, you have to stick to it. So I think that this video is gonna help you a lot, and I would love to hear as well if you have any extra points that I can learn from. So let's jump right into this video. The first thing to do to trick yourself to success is having negative visualizations. So instead of asking yourself, why did I do this, or why did I not do this? You should ask yourself, if I continue doing this, what would happen to me? So for example, if you're actually sitting on kind of like you want to do something on the side, but you've been kind of procrastinating it for a very long time, instead of saying, why am I not doing this? Question yourself. Say, if I continue not doing this, where will I be 5 years from now or 3 years from now? You want to really be able to visualize the negative kind of future component of what if you did not do it. For example, let me give a very simple example. If you're trying to lose weight, instead of asking yourself, why am I not losing weight? Why am I not doing anything? Why am I not going to the gym? You can say to yourself in your mind, like, if I continue eating this way and I'm not going to the gym, where will I be a year from now? So once you visualize that negative visualization will actually feed you. And remember how I earlier said that negativity is not a bad thing. It's just how you use that momentum and how you drive that energy. This is exactly what I meant. When we ask ourselves, we just end up depressing ourselves when you're like, why am I not going to the gym? Why am I not eating healthy? You're actually just giving yourself trauma, and you're treating yourself like that parent that just nags their kids about things without giving them actual constructive criticism. You want to be able to treat yourself in a sense that you're not questioning yourself, you're just being mature and wise enough to say, if I don't change, what would happen? That is a trick that is insanely important and insanely actually works. Like, it worked for me when I used to question myself, instead of saying I actually always wanted to do things outside of my 9 to 5. But sometimes I find myself that I'm, doing so many things without meaning, and I'm not putting my potential towards one thing. So I question myself, instead of saying, why am I doing all these things at once? I actually started sitting down with myself, like, actually, why am I doing them? And what would happen if I don't stop? But also start to visualize what would happen if I do stop and focus on what I need to do at the time. So those visualizations work. Honestly, I've heard so many people say manifestation, visualization, that's just crap. I absolutely disagree. I manifested my life and I have a video about it like a couple years ago when I wasn't really doing as much content, but manifestation, and it's called The Power of Manifestation, I think. Manifestation works when you visualize yourself in a place, because you're putting your actions towards that place, whatever you want to be, you will become that person. Because in our mind, it's way more powerful than anything exterior. For me, when I try to emphasize this point for you, to have a negative visualization of what would happen if you don't do it, manifestation is kind of like a different way of doing it, but it's also kind of visualizing that future self. It's visualizing that future self of where I want to be, But negative visualization is, if I don't change, what would happen? Because you will become way more worried to approach something in a negative sense, or a negative kind of like you visualize something scary to you, versus if you want to actually visualize, something amazing for you. I mean, it works when it's something that's very powerful that you've been doing for a very long time. Instead of questioning yourself like, why am I not changing? Question yourself and say, what would happen if I don't change? And that negative visualization is going to scare you, and you're going to completely change your habits. Just apply that to everything. And the reason why I gave that example is just because it was a simple one. But you have to think about it right now. Let's do this exercise for just a couple of seconds, or a minute or two. What is one thing you really want to do in the next 2 years? And what is something right now that you're doing that is stopping you from that? Whether it's not putting enough time, whether it's spending too much time out instead of in, what is it? So now I want you to ask yourself, if I don't stop doing that, where will I be 2 years from now? And what you're going to visualize is that you're not going to get there. You're going to be in the same place that you are today. Now that thought, hone on to it, make it scare you, make it get you worried, and get you up today to continue working on your goals. So that's the first point for this, on how to trick your brain towards success. The next point on how to trick your brain towards success is building your tolerance levels for frustration. So actually studies have proven that people with high frustration tolerance are people who are likely to achieve their goals, and they're more successful than people with low frustration tolerance. And I'm going to help you understand how to actually get there. So when you ask yourself, for example, why did I not start a YouTube channel, for example? And you're gonna answer that and say, because I didn't want my friends and family to see me and laugh at me. That is a low frustration tolerance, right? But first, the point here is to understand why we do certain things. You're not gonna be able to build your frustration tolerance if you don't really label it and navigate what exactly is that feeling. Right? For me, for a very long time, very, very long time, I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel. But I actually started to question exactly this. Like, why did I not do it? Why can I not do it? Like, I could literally start a channel, no one would know about it, and I could just go for as long as possible, and I don't have to share it with anyone, right? So once I identified that the reason was actually fear, it was kind of like fear of embarrassment or something, right? Because we're not perfect. I'm not gonna just show up in front of a camera one day and just be able to articulate myself and edit a great video. And this is something I accepted because I knew I wanted to do it, right? So if you go back to my older videos, absolutely not the same. I was less confident, I wasn't able to articulate myself better, but like, I'm here. Had I made it or not, I am better at articulating myself. I'm way more confident because I started a YouTube channel. But you need to identify those feelings. So if it's anxiety, for example, why did I not go up on stage when I had the option to? Anxiety, right? So let's start by understanding those feelings, right? Why did I not become the influencer that I wanted to become? It's because I was worried my parents would judge me, or they would be mad at me for doing that, right? So that is kind of like shame. Right? So once you identify those feelings, now we're gonna start to work towards having a higher frustration tolerance so that we can work together towards success. Because our minds, the reason why I say trick our minds is because the control our minds have over our lives is high. It's very massive. And I think the only way for us to change that is if we understand how it works and try to trick. Just like people, for example, when they wanna make it on YouTube, right? Whether they do very good or not, if they understand the algorithm and they try to trick the algorithm and manipulate and play with it, they're gonna get more views, right? So it's exactly like your brain. You know your brain, how it works, and you're trying to trick it towards success. Because we're not perfect. We're not gonna be able to just change how our mind works unless we slowly, it's like you're stretching that muscle of tolerance. And this kind of applies to a lot of things, right? For example, like confidence. Confidence is a skill that you learn, but you have to continue practicing over time for you to build it. It's not genetic, it's not inherited. None of these things actually work. It's all in our mind. So over time, once you start to navigate those feelings of anxiety and fear and frustration, and you build that tolerance, I'm telling you, your life will change and you're gonna thank me later. But for now, I wanna also hear from you what you think kind of works for your success. For you, how do you reach success without having to, do the status quo? What are the tricks and tips that you could share with me and the community that I have here? Last but not least is proving your brain wrong. And I'm sorry if I'm painting the brain to be your enemy, your brain sometimes is your worst enemy. You just don't know it, because what happens in everyday life, all these feelings you're having, it's kind of stopping you from reaching your goals. This is all happening in your brain. And for me, the reason why I said prove your brain wrong is because I don't want you to ever kind of link what's happening in your life to your brain. You know, I don't want you to say, why can't I be successful, right? I want you to say, if I am successful, how will I feel? How will I react? How will I talk, right? I'm gonna be productive. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be successful in helping my family and helping my friends grow with me. I want you to prove your brain wrong, because instead of all these years of you saying, why can't I be successful? Why can I make it? All these questions are just, you're fueling your brain to think negative about yourself, and you're gonna be negative about yourself continuously. But instead, just like I mentioned, say, if I am successful, how would I be, right? I don't want you to connect all those feelings and negativity to actually your brain. I want you to connect them to kind of like use them, like I mentioned earlier, to visualize things that would happen if you don't change your habits today to your future self. But you have to prove your brain wrong. You have to trick your brain to success, because we have a lot of kind of like accumulated traumas over time that takes a while to detangle, and we cannot change someone else. Like I can't, for example, say I want to change how my friends think or how my family think, because everyone is a product of their experience. You are a product of your experience. What you need to do is work on how to detangle your own experiences by tricking your brain to think differently. Instead of saying, I can never be successful, I will never make it the way I want or the way my friends made it. No. You're literally setting up yourself for failure. So change that mindset completely, because that's the only way you're going to succeed. If you think today, for me, no matter what, wherever I am, whatever I did, I feel like I am successful. I keep telling this to my brain until I make it. And I made it, by the way. I'm just thinking that I'm going to continue doing this until I make it more and more and more, until I feel like I'm happy with where I am. And now after that, that kind of like over time becomes a habit that I've been practicing, and my brain is going to be kind of like coded for that, or it's, programmed to think that way. So I think that's it for this video. I'm so happy to be sharing this, because I think I've struggled with understanding what is the strategy for success. And there isn't one strategy. It's really just understanding your brain and tricking your brain towards success. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on my next one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comment box what you think, if there's any tips and tricks that you want to share about your success journey. I would love to hear them all. Bye.